Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Young here, and today I'm back in another Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks that you guys can use to win and also get more kills here in your solo games. So this gameplay I ended up getting 20 kills, and I want to talk through and explain what I did that allowed me to get so many kills and also pick up the win fairly easily. And real quick, before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. I give away 2,000 V-Bucks every single Friday. If you guys would like to participate in the next giveaway and win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on the video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Hit the notification bell, and as well leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamertag, PSN gamertag, or Epic account, and you guys will be automatically entered. If you guys would like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do is go down to the bottom right, click on support a creator, type in my creator code, which is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator. And lastly, I'm super excited to announce my new merch. You guys can find it in the link in the description or the pinned comment if you guys are interested. Definitely get a long sleeve t-shirt or a hoodie if you guys like it. And with that being said, let's get right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys exactly how to get more solo wins and pick up more kills really easily. So as far as land location, you can land wherever is comfortable. I decided to land Pleasant Park. Now, when it came to choosing a house to land at, you always want to, if possible, land on the house that's on the furthest side. So here I end up landing at the broken house, and the reason why you want to land here is because after I loot this house, I know that there's going to be no one from this angle, so I can't get shot in the back randomly. So if I were to land, say, in the middle or in a house that's in between multiple houses, as soon as I loot that, I can get shot from the left and the right. Versus if I land at a house in the corner, once I loot this house, I can no longer, at least for a couple minutes, because some people rotate. So once I clear this house, I know for at least the next couple minutes that I'm not going to be getting shot from this location at all, so I can safely move around Pleasant Park without worrying about getting shot in the back. So I finish out the first house, I move around to the second one, which is really helpful because I know I'm not going to get shot from the first house because I cleared it. And whenever you're looting houses or looking for other players, one mistake that a lot of people do is they tend to face check a lot of corners, which is what you don't want to do because it's going to be a really bad idea in most cases unless the other player is really bad. And by face check, I mean like you think a guy's around the corner, so you just blindly walk around there just to check if he's in there. A lot of times what's best is you want to always try to look through windows and really listen for footsteps to try to determine where the other player is. And if you think they're in a room, it's always best to place like a cone or place a ramp, because if you end up placing a ramp in that room, a lot of times they'll end up moving. And this is if you don't know 100% that they're in there, because you don't want to ever just walk in and face check, because they're gonna already have their gun up. And a lot of times if they get a headshot, you're gonna end up dying in that situation. So like I said, you never want to just face check corners. You always want to try to look through windows and try to determine exactly where that player is. So as you can see, I'm going around Pleasant. I'm going from house to house, and I'm not going, you know, kind of arbitrarily to like one house and then like a different one. I landed at the first one, and I'm looping all the way around Pleasant. That way, when I'm fighting or when I'm going against players, I kind of have an idea where everyone's going to be. I always know what direction they're coming, which is really big, especially if you're not mechanically really good. Because if you get shot from multiple directions and say your building and editing isn't 100% perfect, you can take a lot of L's, especially in the early game, because you're not even going to have that many mats. So that's what you want to do in the early game. Always try to land at the outside of the location and then wrap around. That way you kind of have a really good idea on where people are coming from, where they're not, so you can be able to play accordingly. And it's just going to help you out a lot because you don't run into situations where you're getting shot from your left and your right. It still can happen, but it's more unlikely if you play it smart. So going into the mid game, it's always important that you always want to have your loadout in a way that if you ran into a sweaty player, you would be able to kill them. Because in this game, I didn't face like the sweatiest of sweaties. But once you're going into the mid game, if you don't have above 100, if you don't have at or above 150 HP, especially if you have like 150 HP and don't have any minis, you really don't want to be playing aggressive at all. You always want to have as much HP as you can and as much extra minis as possible, because if you don't, what can happen is you always want to prepare to fight sweaty players, and on top of that, you always want to expect that you're going to have to be able to fight 2 or more players before getting heals again, because a lot of times you're not going to be in a situation where you get a kill and then you have, say, extra 5 minutes to, you know, get your HP back up. Most of the time you fight someone and then you have to fight someone immediately after, and it might be like 2 or 3 players before you're able to kind of get your mats up again. So you always want to make sure that you have enough health to fight multiple players, or you're going to be losing a lot of games. And a really good way to pick up a lot of extra health is you always want to check buildings that are not looted. And what I mean by that, so if you land Pleasant Park, maybe going, just outside Pleasant Park, they have a location where you can pick up, there's an extra building, you can pick up a few chests. And also by Slurpee, they have the Slurp trucks. And that's what I use a lot of the games to. If I don't have a lot of HP, I can pick up free HP there. And so when I'm going into the mid game, I'm pretty much guaranteed to have 200 HP. So I'm not going to be at any sort of disadvantage. So a good rule of thumb, almost always when it comes to the mid or even the late game, you always want to play according to the loot that you have. Meaning that if you have 120 health and like 300 mats, and you see a skirmish of like 3 or more players fighting, you probably don't want to jump in that right away. You'd want to wait it out quite a bit. Because a lot of players would make that mistake. Well, they'll play as if they have max materials and max health, but in reality they have like 120 HP and like 300 mats, and you don't want to play more than like what you have. And so it's really important that you always try to, at least in the early game, try to set yourself up, always try to max out your HP. And if that means playing a little bit slower and making sure you grab a couple houses on the outside so you can pick up some extra health, maybe try to pick up a fishing pole, get some extra slurp fish. Doing things like that is really going to help you win more games, because even if you do everything right, if you just have lower HP than the other player, you're probably going to lose, especially in the meta currently where there's no really good pump shotguns that do like a lot of damage. A lot of times if you're running to someone at the exact same skill level, you're probably going to lose if you have less HP, unless the other person just chokes and misses a lot of shots. So it's really important that you play according to the loadout that you have, and just knowing when you can fight someone and when you can't. That's just a really good thing to have in mind. And that really just comes down to loot, because you can't really know if they're like a really, really good player or if they're just kind of average just by looking at them. Sometimes you can kind of tell, but a lot of times you can't. So if you know you don't have that many mats, or maybe just not enough mats that you feel comfortable fighting a player or two, then you probably want to spend a little more time farming up and don't try to rush things that are just not there. Also, another really great way to boost your win percentage, and something that I've done this game and a lot of my other games, is just trying to keep tabs and trying to understand where you think other players will come from. And if you do know, kind of just keep a mental note of where other players are, because it's one of the most important things to know. Because if you're about to go into a gunfight with someone in front of you, and then you heard gunshots to your left side, you can almost assume that if you don't kill the guy in front of you right away, that you're going to get third-partied from that left side almost immediately afterwards. So always trying to understand where other players are. And as you can see here, I completely choke my builds. And that's also something to notice, is I do know a lot of people who like go for a lot of those crazy clips that you see on Instagram. And I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes it takes them like 30 minutes to get those clips. So if you end up messing a couple of your mechanics up, it's really not that big of a deal as long as you don't take a lot of damage. And you can't expect to have your mechanics perfect every single game. So even if you choke your mechanics a little bit, it's really not that big of a deal, and you can still win a lot of games without that good mechanics. As long as you play smart and have good decision making, you can win most of your games. And that's what I am trying to explain to you in this video. And that's something that's just so important, because I run into so many people that just have better mechanics than I do, but I end up winning the game and also dropping more kills than they do, just based on having good decision making, kind of having our understanding where everyone is on the map, and then playing accordingly. Also making sure that if I don't have really good HP, that I shouldn't be challenging like 3 or more players if I know they're there. So with that being said, that's what it is for this video. Hopefully some of these tips in this video helped you guys out and helped you get more solo wins. If you guys could drop a like on this video, make sure you guys do subscribe if you are new to the channel. I do live stream almost every single day at 4:30, sometimes 5 Eastern Standard Time. So hit that notification bell so you guys get notified for when I go live. But with that being said, I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Hope it helped you out, and I will catch you guys in the next video.